Sword X stuff is releasing pretty soon in a couple days, so I wanted to start making videos for the people who are interested in trying out the game. This is an auto battler with a lot of build crafting. There is like 200 plus skills, which is pretty nice, a lot of build archetypes and a lot of classes. So there's gonna be a quick, quick, not really quick, grab a copy, sit down, this is gonna take a while. A beginner's guide talking about most of the system that this game has to offer. Now, this is going to be going over surface level when it comes to all of the systems, because if you've played AFK Journey, if you've played Dragon Traveler, if you've played all of these games that have, 30,000 different systems, this is going to be pretty similar to those games. Obviously, you will unlock them as you play, not everything day one. But this guide aims to talk about most of the core system the game has to offer, so you can understand them better for release day. That's it. Let's jump into this before we start. Hello, the internet. Welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic, beginner's guide for Sword X stuff. I want to start talking a little bit first about the character itself, character customization, and character classes, because, well, obviously the game is called Sword X stuff, so you will have to pick what class you want. There is only one character slot per server, so whatever you pick is what you will be sticking with. There are systems to change classes later on if you want, but it's recommended you pick one and you stick with one branch. If you pick the staff, you can be a sorcerer, which is basically a mage, or a sage, which is what I pick myself, a support class. If you pick the sword, you can be a duelist, a DPS, or a knight if you want to be a tank. All classes can clear content that is single player. All single player content can be cleared, doesn't matter if you're an arcanist like me right now, or a knight as a tank. You will be able to clear everything because each class has multiple playstyles. Alright. For example, a quick overview on my sage. I can be a pure debuff character like a Shadow Priest in World of Warcraft, right? With dark damage. I can be a support character, or I can be even a summoner if I wanted to be playing a summon build. Right? Those are the three archetypes the sage has that are the most common ones. So there is a lot of customization. Your character will have 4 skills, active skills, and 4 passive skills. The active skills are called techniques, the passive skills are called charms. And the build variety, it's crazy. In fact, so you guys can see this a little bit better, let me switch to the full screen here, and let me actually go to Sword X stuff on the website. You guys have already a lot of guides on the website, link in the description, obviously. But so you guys can see like the amount of skills that we will be getting as the game progresses. It's all of this. Like all of these are skills you will be able to unlock to have different classes and different builds, or different possible builds you can be making, right? So there is a lot of build crafting going on. Also, a quick self-promotion, obviously, but the website has all of the database ready for you guys, a few beginners guide in there as well, and my guide on how to play Sage if you're interested on how to play Sage, covering stats, pets, companions, builds, everything, right? I will be making different guides later when the game launches in global for a sorcerer, because I might be playing sorcerer in global. And also, really important, but Pride 1 is going to be covering the game. We are preparing the wiki for tomorrow as well. So tomorrow we should have the guides in Pride 1 as well. This beginner guide, in fact, is going to be a shorter version of what you can find in Pride 1 tomorrow. All right, that's it. Let's jump back into our emulator directly, and we can talk a little bit about character classes more in depth. So when you pick a branch, you should be sticking to that playstyle, because even though you can switch classes, it's not without losing some stuff. Unless you are a whale who can, get every single spell in the game for multiple classes, I will say stick to one class and keep that, right? It's gonna be easier. Also, you will be losing a lot of your gear, and you will have to farm again and lose a lot of combat power. So I'll make a guide tomorrow going over all classes, which ones are the best for free-to-plays and whales, and in my opinion, which one you should be picking early on or later. That's it. Not only you have all of the spells to be equipping, so 4 passives and 4 active skills, you also have a lot of gear that will change how you play your builds, because gear can have a lot of substats. I'm talking like 30, 40, 50 substats you can get that will give you passive stats, will give you passive skills, or even active skills, like for example this one right here, and that will change how you work. And also gear that will just increase drops while you are exploring and whatnot. So there is a lot of build crafting in this game that I like a lot, between the skills, between the gear, and also with the pets. We'll talk about pets later. Now, Sefhi, can free-to-plays get everything, or are you gonna be missing, 50% of the content? When it comes to clearing content, you can clear with any class, doesn't matter what you're doing. I have all the pets, I'm missing only one. I even got enough dupes on the pet that's limited for this collab that they're doing in China to evolve her later whenever I get the new island unlocked, right? So yeah, you can get everything. I have all the spells for my class. I have literally all of the pets. I'm missing only one mythical pet that I can get later as well. You will be able to get everything, but you cannot compete in PvP against the spenders. But that's like every single gacha out there. So that's for the character classes and progression a little bit. There is a lot of customization going on when it comes to the classes, because as you unlock newer tiers of classes, you will be unlocking a lot of extra spells as well. For example, in 2 days, when Global releases, we're also getting a new season in China, which unlocks the next class in here, which is going to be for me the Dominator. And that unlocks new playstyles, like another 20-30 skills, a bunch of new gear, new cosmetics as well. You can customize your character quite a bit when it comes to your weapon, your accessories in the hair. And so far, everything else I've gotten literally is free to play. I just bought this stuff for $3 to see if the price was actually $3 or I was tripping, but no, it's $3. Cosmetics are pretty cheap. We'll talk about that in another video. That's for the character itself and for the classes. There is a lot of content to go through itself, so let's actually jump directly and start with a question that I know people will have. So I'm gonna answer it now. Rerolling is not useful in this game. You will get all spells for your class, all of them. So rerolling is useless. Just because you get, let's say, this spell, which is the best spell early on for mages, just because you reroll for this means nothing, because you get the selector the second day or the third day or whatever it is. So it's like, why would you even reroll for that? The gacha itself, every X amount of pulls, gives you a selector as well. Like, it is not worth rerolling on any single situation in this game. It's better to just push content and actually unlock more things and just get more spells later, okay? You will get everything. Doesn't matter if you get the best spell day 1 or day 4. You're gonna be gated by combat power and by level regardless of what you do, all right? So that's for rerolling. Just wanted to clarify it really quickly. Let's talk about the elephant in the room too. Gacha system. There are a few gachas we can talk about, so let's go over them. You're gonna have the normal skill gacha. This is a normal gacha where you can put skills for all of the classes. So for me, I'm a tier 3 sage, right? So I can get the skills for tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1 sage. You can get all of them or shards. This is the normal gacha. However, you can select what you want. I can be like, okay, I only want skills of tier 2 and below. Or I only want skills of tier 1. And now I can only get tier 1 skills instead, right? But this is for the warrior. But you can select what you want here. But this is including all tiers always. However, there is a separate gacha, which is going to be the premium gacha, where you can select specifically what tier you want to get. So I only want tier 3 or tier 4 or whatever it is, and you can't do that in here. You will be able to unlock or to select which ones you want to pull for. This is the premium gacha. You can get this as a free-to-play. I've been getting quite a bit, and I save some. And the best thing about this gacha is that every 5 multis, they give you a selector for a skill of your choice. So even if you get unlucky, because it's going to be a 1% to get a necessary skill or a 7% to get one of the purple ones, even if you were to be super unlucky and don't get anything, every 5 multis, you can come here and exchange for 30 shards of a skill of your choice. So you will get all the skills. Like I was saying, I even have 4 of these saved up right now, so I could exchange whenever the new classes drop. You can also save this and directly unlock also all of the new skills. The game, even if you're free to play, does a good job at giving you enough resources. Even if the raids are not the best ones in the world, even if you can pull a lot of shards, doesn't matter, because the sheer amount of pulls they give you makes up for it. So that's for the normal banner, the premium banner, and there is a friendship banner. And I like this banner quite a bit. This is a banner you can grind. This is a banner to reward people who are grinding the game and playing. You can farm up to 1000 friendship points every week. And this gacha, actually, you can even get a multi. You can get a lot of premium resources and a lot of overall resources to help you progress your account further. In order to farm friendship points, you will do this with any co-op activity. There is a lot of co-op activities. So for example, today I was playing the game doing my dailies, and I got these points for doing 2 dungeons and 1 6-man raid, right? So you just get a lot of points for participating, and every 250 points you can do a multi, up to 4 multis per week. As for the skills gacha and the friendship point, there is 2 more gachas. One, it's for the pets. Pets, are not unlocked day one. You don't have to worry too much. And the rates is not like fantastic rates either. It's 0.8% to get the whole pet. But as you can see, I have all the pets. And again, I've been playing super casually when it comes to the Chinese server. You will get all pets. The best thing in my opinion about the pets is that when you pull, you also get these crystals right here, right? This crystal. And these crystals can be used to exchange for the legendary pets. So if I come here, this is the one I exchange for. And when you get another 60, you can exchange for this guy. You can also get a bote here for 18. This one changes. The pet that's here switches on every reset. For example, in 10 days, this is resetting and will change to a different pet. In case you don't have that pet, you will be able to unlock it. But I will say, do not use those resources there. That resource, that currency should exclusively be used for legendary pets, nothing else, okay? But as for the pet gacha itself, you mostly will get resources. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get a pet, but even as a free-to-play, you will unlock all of them, right? And then obviously, what's this? This is the collaboration pets. When it comes to global, for example, global is going to be getting a collaboration with Konosuba. So in here, whenever it's unlocked, you will be able to get Chomosuke. These are obviously paid only pools, but they do give enough pools for free-to-plays that you can get a copy, the base copy, and they give one for free. So this event, even though you can buy as many pools as you want for pay-to-win players to get, 1,000 dupes, you will be able to get the pet for free just by logging in on the calendar. They give it for free, so that's pretty nice. Don't worry too much about the limited stuff as long as you're logging in. So that's for the pets. It's also a pretty nice gacha in my opinion, because like I said, even as a casual player, I have everything, just missing one mythical pet that I'll get probably in a couple of weeks. And then there is the last type of gacha, which is gonna be right here, and this is the Relic gacha. Now, we'll talk about relics later, but just a quick TLDR before we go into them. Relics are simply pieces of equipment that will grant you extra passive stats, and then you can have 4 equipped on each element that will give you even more stats. Unequipped relics give you 20% of their stats, and the equipped ones give you everything. There is multiple sets and passives we'll talk about later, but the gacha, it's here. And this gacha, it looks convoluted, but it's pretty simple. The blue gacha will give you mostly, obviously, blue relics only. You can get purples and also SSRs. The purple gacha will only give you purple and above relics. Also is the first time you unlock the divine relics with these yellow ones. Then the orange gacha will give you only orange and divine. And then obviously the divine gacha gives you only divine relics. You get a lot of this currency just by playing. Like a lot of this currency. And even if you wanted to buy, I can go and for 3,000 gems, which is 3 multis on the normal gacha, get 400 of these. So you will get a lot of currency here. I haven't bought a single pool in here with gems. I only pull with what I get for free. And as you can see, between the cashback and everything you get, it's fine. Now, each region in the game has a different set of relics. So if I go into the map, the first map, which is this one right here, has a set of relics for each element and each rarity. The second island has a set of relics for each element and each rarity, and the third island, same thing. You want to be going for at least 50% raid completion on each zone. We'll talk about why later when we actually reach this section for relics, alright? But that is the gacha itself. All of these gachas have low rates, but it's made up by the amount of sheer pulls they give you and the PTs they have. They are pretty good, right? So that's for the gacha. Let's talk a little bit about the seasonal system in this game and how the progression works, because obviously there is a cap to how much you can progress each season. If you played FK Journey, it's pretty simple. After you reach level 100, everything you do is seasonal progress, which will be reset after the next season. So you do not lose your spells, you do not lose your pets, you do not lose your gear, but it will be reset to level 100. My gear, my spells, my pets. If I click on my combat power right here, it's 1.3 million combat power plus 1.1 million combat power that is from seasonal content. Seasons usually last 2-3 months, and the way they work to give you extra resources and increase your ceiling on combat power is that after each season finishes, you will be able to get points based on your progress for that season and get a permanent increase for your character, right? So permanent stats, permanent increased drop rates, everything, and that will accumulate each season. So it's gonna be making every season your character stronger and stronger and stronger. Usually they are 2 months, but the first one is gonna be shorter. This first season right here on the screen will only be a month or so. The second season we'll get on global is going to be this one right here, unlocking when global releases for China, and this should be 2-3 months. And the same thing will happen. You will get a score based on how much you've progressed in here. As you can see, I'm tier A. The highest you can get for the wells and the spenders is triple S. Even as a free-to-play, you can get double S, no problem. Like S, no problem, and double S if you're min-maxing. Triple S, I'm not sure if you can get that as a free-to-play. Again, I've been pretty casual in this season myself. The seasonal content itself and how many things reset and not goes way more in depth. This is only an overview of how the system works. All right, there is a lot of things going on, but whenever the game opens, you can check everything in here in game, and it's well explained, and they tell you what you can keep and what you will not be able to keep. All right, so just in game, make sure you guys are reading and that you should be good. Okay, just read the explanation the game provides to you. That's for the seasons. After that, we can talk a little bit about game modes. There is a lot of game modes. I'm going to be giving an overview of most of these game modes, and we're going to start with the basic one. So you have a tower for each island you unlock, each zone. This is the usual tower system every gacha has. They give pretty good rewards. You have dungeons that you can do every single day to unlock resources and gear. This is what you want to be farming. There is a lot of dungeons. You will always be farming the highest possible level available to you. And usually, each dungeon also has multiple difficulties, like normal, hard, and then higher dungeons will have 3 difficulties, and then the later season dungeons will have 4 difficulties instead. Normal players will be able to clear normal and hard. If you want to be clearing everything else, you either get lucky with matchmaking and find a well, or you are with a pre-made party that actually has good gear and skill setups. If not, you are not clearing, okay? Regardless. That's for the dungeons. That's for the tower. There is a 6-man raid you can also do. There is a lot of resources in here. Free-to-plays will not be able to fully clear this unless, once again, you get lucky with a well or you go with a pre-made party. In that case, you can fully clear it. They are pretty nice because every day it changes the element that they are weak to, so you can change your builds based on the passives of whatever this monster will have, right? That's for the raids. There is also grinding stages for stamina. Stamina is only used to farm these resources. You can pick which one you want to farm, go into the map, and it will farm automatic. And then when it comes to the destiny fruits, this one right here, we'll make a separate video because they are an important resource you should be saving. But basically, you can use them on the overworld and they will be giving you a lot of resources. Each apple you use will give you a random encounter or resource on the map. Then we have PvP. There is normal PvP, 1v1, and there is also 4v4. They are also making a 2v2 pretty soon from what I know. Then you will have seasonal events, a lot of them. For example, the current one we had was a raid boss that was server-wide, and I did not participate, but even if you don't participate, you still can claim all of these rewards. So even if you are late, right, you can still go and claim all of these resources. It's completely fine. And then there is different seasonal content always here. You can check when it opens and when it ends. And then lastly, you have your daily resource stage farming. This is simply you get currency for doing your missions, your daily content, and you'll be able to get resources, different types of resources on each quote-unquote dungeon. Even free-to-plays, in my opinion, should be refreshing this with premium currency. At least 2 per day on each of the dungeons, because the amount of resources you get here is pretty good. So even free-to-plays, in my opinion, should refresh twice per day on each of them, which is 120. That's for the game modes on the screen. There is one more we need to be talking about, or actually 2 of them. First is the vendor booth right here. This is a daily vendor booth that will have a lot of nice resources for you to buy, and you should be buying most of them and refreshing to actually buy even more, because the amount of resources you get here for progressing on your account is really good. The more you farm and the more gold you have, obviously, the more you can buy for this guy. But even free to play, again, I don't spend money and I've done 5 refreshes today. It's fine. And then he will also, for premium currency, sell extra resources every day, extra stamina, pools for the pets. He will be selling extra fruits, a lot of pretty good resources, even if you wanted to buy this, right? So always make sure you check the daily vendor booth every single day and refresh with gold to be getting more resources. Lastly, there is also a cart. This is your idle resources. The cart management is also kind of important. A quick TLDR is that you want wood and stone to level up every single other resource and gold. So those three are pretty important. Everything else, I've seen so much conflicting information on the Chinese forums that I don't want to say anything. I personally think that these three will be better than the basic treats. I think basic treats will have less priority, but until release, I don't want to say anything on this because again, I've seen just way too much conflicting information. The only thing people agree on is that wood and stone are important and you will need a lot, right? And now we can go back and talk a little bit about pets, a little bit more in depth, and the systems you can expect to have with your pets. So pets, as you can see, you can have equipped up to 4 pets on top, and then the rest will be below. Your main pet on top left is the one that has 100% stats given to you. This should always be your highest rarity. The 3 pets in here are giving you 50% of their stats. Whatever you have also high rarity goes here. And every other pet gives you 20% of their stats. Now that's for the basic stats. You can also level up your pets, right? So if you go here, you can level up your pets with treats, and the 4 pets on top dictate the level of everyone else. So if these pets are level 110, as you can see, it's the minimum on top. Everyone else will be 110 below too. Not only that, but you also have aptitudes, which are skill trees for your pets that grant a lot of passives, a lot. And they have multiple trees. This is the first one already completed. This is the second one. So there is a lot of systems for the pets to progress and give you nice stats, and you will be able to be getting these with every single pet. Right? Do not worry about misusing resources. If you want to switch a pet, let's say I want to have this egg instead on top, you can switch them because resetting them doesn't cost anything. Right? You will be able to reset and get all your resources back. So don't worry with experimenting with what pets you like and not. Now, this is completely different from what pet you bring to combat. Regardless of what pets are here, you can have a pet that will accompany you in combat. And then they will have a passive skill. And also after you evolve them, right, if you go here, they will unlock 2 active skills. This is by the end of season 1, so don't worry too much about this early on, right? Just know that mythical pets have an extra active skill when they evolve. So they have 2 actives, 2 passives. That's why they are always the best pets to use, regardless of your build, right? They have just higher combat stats, they have more skills, usually better skills too. So that's basically for the pets, a quick TLDR on how the system works. Don't be afraid with experimenting and changing which ones you have on top, because you can reset them for free completely. That's it. Let's move a little bit on to the relics, since we were talking earlier but not fully. And I said, hey, you need 50% completion at least on each region. Why, Sefhi? Because relics will give you basic stats just for having them, just for completion, regardless of what you have equipped on top, right? Let's say my main element is dark. Everything here is giving me stats for my build to do more damage. And also, if you click on this, as you can see, there is set bonuses. So these 4 relics, if you have all of them, will give you 1% here. I think it's attack, speed, and HP, whatever it is. Give me 1%. If all of them are 3 stars, right, 3 dupes, they give me another 1%. So that's why you want at least 50% completion per region, so you can get those bonuses and even more stats. Going past 50% usually is not recommended, but it's fine for the first region. New players, for the first region, it's fine to go above the 50%, all the way to 70 instead. But going past 50 on the others is not really necessary. It's better to save for the next region, so you can even get more stats, but it depends how much you are playing and spending, obviously, right? 50% is the minimum recommended for everyone. Also important, but when it comes to leveling up your relics, you want to be focusing on whatever your main element is. It doesn't matter if my fire relics are level plus 30, if I don't have a single fire spell equipped, right? So in my case, since I'm a dark priest, I want to be leveling my dark relics more than everything else. When it comes to the equipped ones, you always want to be going for the highest rarity. But sometimes you might be using a specific relics that have passives that are good for you. There are relics that increase the gold you get, relics that increase the drop rate on dungeons, etc. But that's a quick TLDR on the relic system for the game. Now we can talk about companions. Companions are kind of NPCs For the most part, most of the content is online, but let's assume you can find people to play with. You can invite 3 companions to your party, and they will be able to go with you and play with you. All of them have different builds and different set of skills. Now, that's not the main core concept for companions. Why they're important is because they give passive stats that will increase for your main character. You will be able to get all companions for free as long as you keep playing. I am not sure on the companions for the collaboration because the Chinese server does not have Konosuba. So I am not sure if you will be able to get the Konosuba characters for free. But there are Aqua, Darkness, Megumin, and Kazuma all here. Now, when it comes to the stats, it's also important to remember that you don't want to be leveling up everyone. As you can see, they have a bond level. At levels 20, 50, 70, and 100, you will be getting new, stronger stats from that character to your main character. But you don't care about everyone. Let's say I am a sage, right? I care about extra damage and healing boost. I would not be leveling up Hui because she will be giving me block rate and defense percentage. It's kind of useless to me. Instead, I will be focusing on someone like Aqua that gives me HP percentage, healing boost percentage, and crit resistance, right? A lot better. So this depends on your character and your build. I will be making a separate guide for Sage because it's what I've been playing, but I cannot speak on every other build because I haven't played any other class, alright? So I'll stick to speaking about what I can and what I know. That's basically for the database itself that I wanted to talk a little bit. I can go back to the emulator there. So when you decide what characters you want to be leveling up because they have the stats you want to be focusing on those breakpoints, 20, 50, 70, 100. I would focus on getting at least 4 companions to level 50 first, and then you can decide if you want to be like me and just put points into everyone or focusing only on a few. I personally like getting everyone to 50. You have like personal gifts that they will love. I only use those gifts. I don't give them anything else. I only give them the ones they love, so it's easier to actually just know which ones I have to use for higher bond points. Also, after you reach specific breakpoints, you will be able to get free resources from them. They will give you more resources here, right? Even cosmetics as well for free. And you will be able to get conversations with your NPCs where they give you even more resources, which is pretty nice. As for the companions, once again, I'm not sure if the companions for Konosuba will be free or not because that collaboration is not here. The Chinese server only has collaboration. It's gone, I think, already. No, this one. The Chinese server only has collaboration and it's only cosmetics and the pet. There are no companions in there. That said, I want to talk about 2 more systems before this video gets way too long already. And that's going to be food and that's going to be guilds. When it comes to food, there is 2 types of food. There is the basic food you can cook to restore HP. Like for example, this one right here. You can cook so much of this food. Like every time you cook, it's 50. So you will never lack that food, don't worry. But there is a more important type of food. And the reason food is important is because they have not only passive stats, but they will also increase permanently specific stats. For example, in here, you get 20% for one battle of whatever stat that is, and 1% permanent increase of whatever stat this is, okay? I don't know what the stat it is, but a lot of food gives permanent increase in the stats. Now, this has diminishing returns. The more you eat the food, the less stats you get, but it's still a really good way of stockpiling extra stats as time goes by. You can also buy more food on the auction house. It's kind of expensive, so I'm not sure I would recommend it, and also a lot of it is going to be premium only with premium currency. This is the premium currency, not the free-to-play one. So a lot of it's kind of only for wells, but you will be able to get some of these with the PvP shop and other places. So that's why food is also important, not only to heal you, but also to increase your stats on specific battles and permanently. The last system I want to talk before this video gets already way too long are the guilds. Guilds are a really important system. Multiple reasons for this. First of all, this is a social game. Having people to play with will make your life easier. But you will be gaining a lot of stats from the guild. I wouldn't say this is the most important system, however. The higher your guild is, the better stats you will be able to get, obviously, because there is a lot of skill trees in here, right? But the most important thing is actually the shop and the resources. There are multiple places where you can have animals gather here, you can plant flowers, you can have food also plant, and this will give you resources for your phantomons to level them up, this is the biggest source of income or phantom on resources, and that's what is so good. And then lastly, obviously, the guild boss has such an incredible amount of rewards for free-to-play that if you have a good guild that can clear everything on every reset, you're getting a lot of nice resources, a lot of pools, a lot of selectors for the spells. Like, you get so many resources from having a good guild that is worth finding an active one. All right, obviously it's if you want. If you don't care, then it's completely fine. There is some guild PvP. I barely do it, and we don't even have enough members because this Chinese guild is dead. They gave me control over the Chinese guild, and the old owner left. So it is what it is. And then also, the guild is a big source of resources for Chronosand, which is gonna be used to increase the level of your relics, right? So a lot of nice stuff in here. The game has a lot more systems, but I think I'm gonna stop here for the beginner guide. I think we've jumped long enough and talked long enough about the game. I'll make a guide tomorrow going over the classes and what I believe is the best for free-to-plays and wills, and also a guide for the Sage, so you guys know different types of builds you can have and what playstyles are the best ones in my opinion for it. That's it, enough jumping, enough ranting. When the games go live, we will be streaming it. I'm playing with the boys. Feel free to drop by, link in the description. Good luck with your pool dinner needs, and I'll see you on the next one.